Cause I'm about that. Cause I'm about that. I'm about that come up, running up on them fools that are talking foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing the mics just like I ran the jewels in. Y'all gonna get done up front and on that kid with an attitude, but you can't really blame this motherfucker for what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that finish when I started, I'm about that.
Top down like you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down like you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high we see the whole city. We own the night.
Nothing about it. Want a man I can bring the drama, but it ain't by chance. I'm fucking rapping, you don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping, they call me starving. Yeah, y'all ain't gonna ask who the man is. Hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. I'm about that.
Top down like you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down like you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high we see the whole city. We own the night.
What's up, everybody? It is a Monday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley here, Billy Mack there, Richie Giuliano on the far right box, Michael McNuggies below, Jamie Thompson holding it down in the middle, Paul Munson right beside him, and the guy that is the foundation of the company. It is Quinn Pushkar in the G. Burbick Farms studio. Guys, what an absolute unbelievable weekend, not only for us, but for student athletes all over the place, as well as athletes in the NFL, the college ranks. We're going to get to all of that and more, but we have to start with what we do each and every day. It's National Day, and it is National Pumpkin Day. So my question to all of you is, what is your favorite pumpkin, I guess, we're not allowed to say pumpkin spice latte, apparently, because Paul gets really offended with that.
We're a bunch of white guys.
What if we have an inner basic white girl inside of us, Paul, that is just wanting to get out and let their hair down a little bit? Those of us that have a little bit.
That's Jeff. Jeff's got an inner girl in him.
100% Jeff is a pumpkin spice latte guy, just because.
Pumpkin spice latte, fellas. It's delicious.
Oh, excuse me. Pumpkin spice latte, and I want 2 pumps, not 1. 2 pumps. 1 pump, and I fight you. Let's go with Billy Mack. What's your favorite pumpkin, whatever, recipe?
Pumpkin pie, pumpkin ice cream, and because I feel like it and I'm a grown-ass man, I'm going to go get a pumpkin latte tonight from Dunkin' on the way to Max Baseball Academy, and I'm going to take a picture of it and send it to Paul.
Put it in the group chat, and by the way, when they ask what the name is, make sure you say Paul.
Yes.
Richie, what is your favorite pumpkin product?
I have to say roasted pumpkin seeds. I'm a big sunflower seeds guy, so that kind of goes along with it, especially when they get a little crispy on the outside. I'm a fan of the pumpkin seeds.
That's a great call. Mikey, what's yours?
Pumpkins in general, just so I can carve faces on them.
All right, Jamie.
Yeah, I don't like the taste of pumpkin, but I do love the smell, I gotta say. So, like pumpkin candles, those are perfect come this time.
Is it the texture? You don't like the texture? It's like gritty?
I don't even know what it is, to be honest with you. I just can't get behind it.
All right, Muncie.
I definitely like pumpkin pie with the big old scoop of whipped cream on top. But since Billy kind of already put pie on there, I'll say something I don't think anybody's going to say was I personally like candy corn, and I like the little pumpkin candy corns. So I know a lot of people think candy corn's disgusting, and they just say throw it in the garbage. But I've always liked candy corn, and I like the little pumpkin ones that come out around this time of year.
How about this one? Jeff Beto says, I hate lattes.
Come on, guys. I hate
Couple
latte.
things.
Latte.
He spelled latte correctly, which tells me that he put it through Siri. So,
Yeah, he didn't spell that himself. There
Q.
have been some Y's in there.
Q, what's your favorite pumpkin product?
I like pumpkin pie and pumpkin rolls. They're really good.
Pumpkin roll, you stole mine. Here's Coach Seidel saying
Really
unpopular opinion. Pumpkin is garbage. Give me apple cider all day.
Absolutely, but
I like
it's
that.
pumpkin day, so
But
we
it is
gotta give
pumpkin
love to
day.
pumpkins.
Come on, Coach. You can't call an audible on this show. Can't call an audible. We have shows for that. It's the audible call every Friday and Saturday. Well, at least for one more Friday and Saturday, right here on YSN with the Omahas. Pumpkin roll's mine. So I'm with you, Quinn. I can't believe we got that far. Sarah makes an unbelievable pumpkin roll. Second order of business, gentlemen and ladies out there. Michael Page showing up. What a game. I was able to watch it thanks to YSN. West Branch fought until the end. Good luck, Ursula, the rest of the way with a handshake. This brings me to, I got to do it. Sorry, Pagey. You gave him a platform, and here he is.
Let me just tell you something, Paige. Saturday night, I said, you better show up Monday or I was going to come find you with a search party. So kudos for you. And I tried to tell you.
You got me on this time, Mac. That's what.
I will get you every time. That's just how I do. It's just business, baby.
Colin saying cheese with Coach Seidel. Apple is where it's at. I'm way bigger into apple than I am pumpkin. Like apple pie, anything apple I am in. Hot apple cider, and what those donuts. You know who makes? This is gonna sound really bad. You know who makes really good donuts? Chinese
White
restaurants.
House. White House
Chinese
Fruit Farm makes
restaurants.
good donuts.
Yes, they do.
Chinese restaurants.
Yes, ask for donuts at a Chinese restaurant. I promise you, you will not go wrong, unless you are diabetic and you might die.
Deep fried dough, isn't it?
It's deep fried dough, and they put the sugar on it with I
Very
think they even
granular
put
sugar.
cinnamon. I'm telling you, it's legit. Don't knock it till you try it. And oftentimes it's a giveaway. So if they keep you waiting longer than 10, 15 minutes, you get free free donuts. So
And that's why we don't have HR like this just yet.
Get on the bus, Michael. I got a spot for you.
Mac picks winners. Billy, before we get started with all the games that we had, you had quite an adventure with JB on was it Friday or Saturday night? Saturday night. Talk to us about the adventure and what you did to make sure that the people knew that they were going to get that LeBray game.
Yeah, so throughout the beginning of the week, we went out and got a sponsor to make the game free to everybody, and which was super cool. Quality Switch helped us out with that. And we got there super early. It's 5:15. We get there, and I'm pretty anal about being, punctual and on time. So, and not like Jeff Bezos, but Jeff made sure we got there a little quicker than we thought we were going to get there. So we get there, and no athletic director, nobody's around, nobody who's representing the school, but a couple janitors kind of pointing direction to where people should park. And we finally get in there, and we get up to the press box, and there's no room for us. So
No room at the end.
No room at the end, no room anywhere. And it just didn't make sense for us. So I went on the other side into the it's just one press box. We went into the crowd, basically. Went smack dab, being a man of the people, and embrace LeBray and its fans just as they did to us for the last couple games. So we made it happen. We kicked a couple doors down and make space for us, and finally got electricity. Once we got electricity, all bets were off, and hopefully you guys tuned into it and appreciated it as much as we had, as much fun we had doing it.
And the Vikings came up just short. Overall, I mean, it was a great game. LeBray was up against it. Really, you think about it, they were the underdogs coming in, and they almost pulled it out. Billy, talk to me about what the best part of this LeBray season for you was.
I think the best. I got an opportunity to do a bunch of their games. I did one with Richie early in the year, and I think it was just the growth of this team. Offensively, they're hard to stop because they're not going to traditionally turn the football over. They're gonna run the football. They got a three-headed monster there that they can go to anybody. And then they have one of the best backs in Trumbull County, if not the Valley in general. And I mean, he's an all-time leading career rusher at LeBray. So he's got another year to come back. I mean, this team has two seniors. One of them's the kicker. Okay, so let's see. This is. I think Coach Armini really thought that next year was going to be the year to kind of really make a true run into the playoffs, and everybody got into the playoffs. So it's good. This was one of those scenarios where it was good for a team like this to get a lot of playoff experience, and they They would have played. I think they would have came real close to play their way into it anyway in a 10-game regular season week. But they got in and they got hot and they started to believe. And that's all you really need to do in the playoffs, especially when you're an underdog. It's got to be a lot easier when you're the underdog to kind of just believe that it's us against the world type of mentality and just go.
Tell you what, you can bring binoculars to any game you want for LeBray next year, but you're not going to have to look far to see a really good team in those Vikings. And Mac, you have embraced them. Jeff Bezos has embraced them, and I'm sure they're going to love having you back next year as the voice of the Vikes. Richie, you also had an interesting weekend. Talk to us about how it started off and how it finished.
Yeah, it started off Friday night at 7. St. V's got out to the early lead. It was 3-0 and then 6-0 after a pair of field goals. St. V's went from the 13 all the way down to the 5. Canfield held them on 3rd and goal, so they kicked the field goal, make it 6-0. Canfield gets the ball back, and then lightning starts to strike all around the field, so they postponed the game for a couple hours, said they were going to come back and play it. They didn't end up playing the game, so they postponed it to the next day at 7:30. I was supposed to call the Poland game, so I called Paul right away. I'm like, hey, I'm out for the Poland game now because I have to finish this Canfield game. So we get back. It's Saturday, 7:30. Canfield has the ball. Nothing really happens. It's a defensive battle until the very end of the first half where Canfield gets a touchdown with 30-some seconds remaining, kick the field goal. They're up 7-6. So you come out of the locker room. It was another great defensive battle until the fourth quarter with under 5 minutes. It's 4th and goal at the St. V's 2. Coach Pavlansky decides, you know what, we're going to go for it. We're up by 1. Let's take the chance and try and go up by 8. So Brock Lowry keeps it, and he gets into the end zone, makes it 14-6. And then St. V's gets the ball back, has a very good drive, brings it all the way inside the Canfield 30, and then they turned it over on downs. And then there was some extracurricular activity going on after the game was over, a couple of fights and some scuffles. But it was a great game, defensive battle like we thought, a St. V's team that came in averaging 15 points on defense. Canfield now, I'd assume, is under 10 points after that game. So it was a battle from start to finish, a defensive battle, and a very good ball game, one of the best of the year for the Canfield Cardinals.
The revenge tour continues, Richie. Talk to us about how just personal this year has been for Canfield.
Yeah, I mean, it means everything. They get everybody that they wanted on their schedule. They get Kenston in the regional quarterfinal, who they just knocked off, and they beat them in 2018 in the regional final. You get St. V's, who beat them in 2017 after they were leading 10-0 at half. I mean, you get Dover back, you get New Philly, a bunch of teams that they've played in the past where they've lost to. So it means a lot to these kids. I mean, they saw it firsthand, whether they were playing or not. I mean, they know the history and they know the program well. So this means a lot to these kids that they're able to come back and they're able to beat the teams that they've lost in the past and continue that revenge tour. So it should be interesting on Friday night against Streetsboro.
Is there anybody that's made a better situation for themselves out of 2020 in the COVID situation than the Canfield Cardinals, Richie, in your opinion?
It's tough. I mean, I think there's a lot of teams out there that have done great things in 2020, but I think Canfield, with a young quarterback and Brock Lowry starting for the first time in his career, who's done a great job. You got Chris Amrone, who's coming to the backfield, who's originally a linebacker. You got a bunch of other players like Tony Panunzio, was hurt the whole season with that ankle injury, comes in, makes 2 big catches for over 20 yards, gives the Cardinals first downs. And, it's great to see. It's just kids answer the bell. I mean, that's what it's been all year. Whether it's been Lowry, whether it's been Fletcher moving over to the wide receiving core after being the starting quarterback, these kids don't care where they're at or where they're playing. They just step up and do their job. So I think they've done a great job of answering the bell. And, now they're 8-0. So it's been a fantastic season.
Jamie, you had a chance to check out and kind of take the torch, so to speak, and become the voice of the Springfield Tigers. You saw them. What did you see? What did you love?
Well, I guess I can answer with this. What is there not to love about the Springfield Tigers? I mean, they are so great. Should have had another shutout. Second string gave up a touchdown late in the game. I mean, they just came out and dominated. And it was funny in the press box, we got up there and they're like, oh, man, I think we got a challenge this week. This might be it. We got 250 pounds, 240 pounds on the line. I saw Aquinas coming out of the locker room. I'm like, worried about these guys? I'm like, do you see your team? You see how big you are, the success you've had? I mean, how can you not talk about the offense? I mean, Bill Brungard, he is amazing. They've got a bunch of good receivers, a bunch of good backs. There are holes big enough that you could drive semi-trucks through. But I know how it is to be on a team where, the defense doesn't get a lot of love because the offense is great. That defense is so good. I mean, the most points they've given up all year was just 18. And like I said, they should have given up 0 last night or Saturday. I apologize. Should have given up 0. Aquinas only got past midfield twice in the entire game. I mean, that defense is so good. And I really do wonder how many touchdowns the first string has given up all year, because it can't be very much. When you go up by 40 points every game, it's hard to not give up touchdowns when you're the second string still facing the starters.
Was 18 Louisville?
Yeah, Louisville. 18.
Okay, so we did that game. I did that game with Wolfie, and I think the starters might have given up 2 touchdowns, but they were both on trick plays. So you look at that and you go, well, wait a minute. This is you said it perfectly. The offense gets a ton of love because they put up 50, 60 points a game, but the defense is also keeping people underneath that 20 mark, which is spectacular. What part impressed you that you didn't think might? Like, when you walked into that game, you've heard a lot about Springfield, you've seen them on tape. What did you walk away saying, wow, this team's got a real shot at bringing home the gold?
Probably just how stout they are, really all around the football. I mean, that line is great. Like I said, Bo Brungard is amazing. The backs are good. I had this feeling when I was going, and I told Romo, I was like, Romo, I just feel like this Springfield team might be able to keep up with my team from Hubbard. I mean, we were really good our year, but I just had the feeling going in that I was going to be wild like that, and I honestly was.
Springfield's an interesting place when it comes to atmosphere because it is a smaller stadium, right? And due to COVID, you're only allowed 15%. It feels like the stadium's at full capacity because of how loud Springfield fans are. Talk about that. I mean, they are just unbelievable, James.
Oh, yeah, they are amazing. We had people in front of us. They were yelling, screaming. Some guys got a horn that he just blows out every time they were scoring. I mean, it was a great atmosphere. Definitely one of the best that we've been at all year long.
Did they have fireworks?
I don't think there are any fireworks that I can remember.
We had fireworks when Springfield played Louisville. It was unbelievable. It was so cool that they actually I think they blew them all out before the game was over. So the grand finale was all they had left. I think they were tossing sparklers up and the old ones that you actually light on fire, like that they like the dog poops and stuff. Like anything they could do, they were throwing out there. But good job with the Springfield call, and again, you'll have it this Saturday once again. They've
almost outscored their opponents by 300 points. I just did the quick math. 366 to 67. And
that's a great stat.
Only 2 teams have scored double digits on them, and it was Louisville and McDonald.
That's incredible. Muncie, you had a chance to take in the South Range game, of course, as the PA announcer. Being that I did the game, I'll get to my other game, JFK, but I want to have you assess the South Range game. A big win, but there's a couple of key losses that South Range had during the game that will be without this week when they play Crestview.
Yeah, they had Beechwood, and Beechwood was a very similar team in the fact that they were a predominantly kind of a quarterback-driven team with the week before with Harrison Central, and it was going to be a little bit of a dogfight. You could tell early. They stuck around. Their quarterback was very slippery because there was a couple times up in the box we said it. I mean, this kid made kids miss in a phone booth. I mean, you thought, okay, there was a 3-yard loss, and next thing you know, he was scooting forward and getting 3-4 yards positive, and then he went down. He got tackled, and he got landed on, and he hurt his knee pretty bad. They ended up taking him away to the hospital at halftime. So that changed the dynamic of the game for Beechwood. I mean, they came in undefeated, and I don't think they had seen a team, obviously, like South Range all year. South Range was that team that just not only smacked them in the mouth, but pushed them down, kicked them down the road, and just kept going and just turned it up. All facets of the team was just on fire. The running game, the pass game. We did talk about the injuries right before halftime. Jake, hurt his elbow. I saw him today in school. He said his elbow is sore. It's bruised, but, most likely he's going to be out for this week unless, a miracle happens and it's his right arm, so him pushing and being a tight end, making catches is going to be tough. But he's on the mend, which is going to be good. And then, unfortunately, they lost a good freshman starting on defense in Aquisto. He broke his tibia and his fibia. They both were broken. He did have successful surgery yesterday. He's got some permanent pins and rods in his leg that he'll have. But everything the doctors have said is he's going to heal just fine, and the young man will be back next year for this team. So, you lose a starting defensive player, a backup running back in Acquisto, and then, you lose your starting tight end and starting defensive end in Gehring. So, like we've always talked about, with the Raiders and really any other team, but Yeagley's always one of those guys, hey, it's next man up. Next guy up's got to be ready to go, and you get your rival in Crestview this week. There's a lot of things leading into this game that I think both teams are going to be fired up for, but the Raiders especially, because this will be the last time they play Crestview, because Crestview's backed out of the contract with South Range. They won't play him anymore after this, unless it happens in the playoffs. So there'll be no more regular season games with South Range and Crestview, and these kids are fired up, and they want to show why they're the number 2 seed in the district and also in the Division 5. So they're going to go out there, and it's going to be at home, be the last home game, because after this you go to your regional final games. So they want to punch their ticket there, and it's either way. I said it was a revenge tour for these guys, because either they were going to get Crestview, who is a rival, and they don't get to play him anymore, or they were going to get Garrettsville. And the kids are a little too young, but this panel, I'd say maybe except for Mike, can remember this. I mean, there was the very last football game in the North Lima football field was South Range, the 1 seed, versus an 8 seed Garrettsville, and Garrettsville came in and beat them. And so I said, either way, this would be a great game for you guys. And they all wanted Crestview though a little more, because those kids know that team. So they get them, and it's going to be a great time. And there's going to be some exciting stuff, I think, happening Saturday night. So fun.
Billy, you all right? What was that?
My dog's snoring.
I thought
Trying
that
to
was
wake
you.
your dog up?
I think you put him out, Paul.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the end of an era. Crestview not playing South Range not playing, whatever way you want to put it. This almost happened a couple seasons ago, and then they kind of smoothed things over, and the contracts came through. So it's going to be it's going to be the end of an era, and we're going to be there for it. We're already working on some things, as Paul alluded to make this special for both sides. Both sides being, of course, original 4, and the 4 horsemen, as we always say, of schools. So it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to have that game. And these are 2 really good football teams. Crestview on the other side, I'm a South Range guy, but at the end of the day, Crestview, they've been playing the upset card pretty well over the year, really, when you look at it. So this is going to be a great game of a 6 seed and a 2 seed going head to head. And Paul, don't forget that the OHSAA made it available that teams will have the option to play the games at home. They're not always going to be on. There's not always going to be a site there, as I understand. Am I incorrect?
No, it was supposed to be that first it was you have the option to play at home. Then all of a sudden they changed and said it's going to be at a neutral site. Now it's kind of, there's a gray area, because I was listening to Dana Bolish earlier today too, and he's kind of alluded to they're trying to push to go to an away site, as long as it'll be closer to the number 1 seed or the higher seed, but they are, iffy about it. I mean,
well, here's the question.
Go figure. OSHA can't make a decision.
No. I think you've got it twisted here, Mac, because this is what we talked about early on, is when there's no money to be had from the gate, why do you want to host? You're not making any money. You're going to get parking. That's about it. Even in concessions, I think you have to report every little bit to the OHSAA, and they take it right away from you. So if you're let's say this game, Crestview versus South Range, was supposed to be at a neutral site. If you're in East Palestine, or you're a Girard, or you're name the stadium, Springfield, why the hell would you want to host this if you're not making anything off of it? It's going to cost you money. So I think that's why it turned into, well, if we're going to do it, at least the team that's the higher seed can have the ability to host it first. And if they don't want to do it, I would turn it back over to the other team. Say, well, they don't want to do it, so do you want to host it?
Yeah, well, like last week, and it was brought up, and I was actually talking to a couple ADs about this, just again because of where I'm at and what I do with this school. But everybody's talking about they want to see Kirtland. Kirtland, where's Kirtland going to go? Kirtland's field's very small. Their stands are very small, and they're a grass field. Well, last week they didn't play at home; they played at Chardon. They opted to play away from their stadium, but at least a closer stadium to them. They played at Chardon, and they're going to play there this week too. So that's the thing. They say, well, if they are going to play, they're probably going to play there again too, which it surprised me that they haven't gone to a turf field faster, because when you get into usually you get this deep into the playoffs, you're playing on a turf field because OHSAA always made it that way. And when you get to the state semifinals this year too, it's going to be on a turf field. So,
Well, it's a lot easier to rent out a field and get the profits from that than it is to put in a whole new field.
yeah, but from my understanding, they've got some money up there, but they like, from what I've heard through other coaches, is they like having that advantage. They like having the advantage that it's a grass field and they're used to playing on it, and let somebody come in and slip and slide, and they're used to playing with, because you got to figure most places are turf and you don't have to have those long cleats anymore, but it's unusual for kids to have those anymore, the long cleats that are for grass. So
I can appreciate that. Ty, I don't know how long you're waiting in the green room, but I apologize if you're waiting very long. You had an interesting game, one of the best of the weekend, and unfortunately our Falcons didn't come out on top. Talk about that game and the direction that the Fitch Falcons are headed.
Well, I don't think there's any question that the direction the Fitch Falcons are headed. I mean, wow, my room's getting messier by the second.
I was going to say, it looks like it's grown.
But no, there's no doubt that the direction that the Fitch Falcons are heading is it's positive, and that's just because of the coach TJ Parker. I mean, in his first year, it took him into the second round of the playoffs before he suffered his first loss. He did an incredible job with this team, and Devin Sherwood only being a junior this year, he'll be coming back as a senior. But to talk about the game itself, I mean, you saw it was a tale of two halves, really. I mean, first half was entirely Falcons, and it was a very well defensively played game by the Falcons. They went up 10-0 going into the half. But whatever Coach Steve Arnold said from the Raiders to his team for that second half, they came out like a different team. And, I mean, the running by Bryson Powell was torching the Falcons. They couldn't find any way to stop him on the ground, and it was just defensively, Warren Harding really stepped up. But I mean, credit where credit is due. I mean, they really did a great job defending the Falcons and really getting into Devin Sherwood's face, as he really had virtually no time to throw the ball down the field at all during that game. And I think it just comes down to experience of being there. This was really this Falcons team with this group of guys. This was like their first time really being at that show, where Warren Harding is, they're usually there. And Coach Arnold's been there a lot. But that's not to take away anything from the Falcons going forward, because I really do think Coach Parker, he's got the right mindset, the right group of guys around him in his coaching staff, that this Falcons team, this isn't a the end type of game. This is just the beginning of a lot of great things to come down there in Austin Town.
I mean, I think without taking anything away, which we certainly wouldn't from Warren G. Harding, but this was a Falcon team that was a team of destiny for the majority of the year. Would you believe that, Ty?
Yeah, absolutely. And, it felt like that with, Coach Anarella with the passing of him a couple years ago. And then you get Coach Parker, who's an Austin Town native. He knows the culture of the Falcons. He truly, and if you talk to Coach Parker, you understand how much he really just loves the town of Austin Town. It goes deeper than just the football roots. He really just enjoys the town entirely. So it did feel like they were destined for state. But coming up short this year, I think, it leads me to believe that that's just going to make them even stronger going into next year. And a lot of the juniors that are returning next year, you're going to lose Simons and Leskovac, which are two phenomenal athletes, but I think the ceiling for Devin Sherwood is even higher. And we saw that improvement from sophomore to junior year. Where do you see the improvement from junior to senior year, and what Coach Parker can play around and do with that? I think the Falcons are going to be just as good next year as well.
I'm going to talk about the JFK game real quick, then we'll get to Quinn to kind of wrap things up. McNuggies, you're going to lead us off with Ohio State after the break, okay? So we're not ignoring you. We just want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to talk local before we move on to regional. Quinn, I'll start first. JFK, I had a chance to watch them on Friday night. What an unbelievable team that they have. They are locked in. They're loaded. They went up against probably, I've got to say, one of the biggest D7 teams roster-wise I've ever seen in all my days. At one point, St. Paul's, when they came out, had guys far enough, 50 yards, shoulder to shoulder, to cover the field. And I just thought to myself, how do you compete with that depth? And sure enough, Warren JFK, which is, if I had one team to pin the Youngstown kind of grit to them, this is that team. I mean, you've got a center that has a broken right hand that clubbed up his right hand and snapped shotgun, and obviously under center with his left. He perfected it. It was incredible to watch. Cam Hollabaugh is the real deal. If you're looking for the next coming of Lynn Bowden, you don't have to look very far in Warren to see Cam Hollabaugh and all he's doing. Jesse Likens with 2 touchdowns. The Lightning, no pun intended, on Friday night was striking at every opportunity. And I don't know how. I'm grateful. Don't get me wrong. I'm super grateful as to why the game wasn't paused or delayed at all. But let me tell you something. Anthony Malone and I, at multiple points during the night, were like, how do you miss this much lightning? It felt like the Ghost Riders were coming in the sky to get both teams. So it was incredible that it wasn't stopped. But I think the referees were all on the same page. Just keep it going. These are 2 teams that like to run the ball, and it'll take care of itself, and it did. And in the first game I've had this year that hasn't been managed by a mercy clock, JFK proved themselves, and I think that was a huge obstacle for them to utilize in beating St. Paul. And I think they're well on their way to what I could really see them being the D7 champs this year. You know, no disrespect to McDonald, because I know they're going to have something to say about it. But JFK looks like they're for real. If they can stay healthy or relatively healthy, Cam Hollabaugh and Jesse Likens in the backfield, going to be tough to stop. Gabe Green on the outside. And that offensive line is what makes them stand out. So I'm excited to see that. Quinn, you had the chance in the gunner seat on Friday and Saturday night to watch it all. How did it go overall for YSN this weekend and for our teams?
Oh, it was great. I mean, there was a lot of great games. There was a lot of scoring. I mean, from the standpoint of the show, I mean, we did a really good job with it. Anthony, B. Miller, Ian, Mike, Nick, all of them we did a great job, and give credit to Steve. I guess he kind of sat there and did Steve things. But no, we did a great job. We had a great time. It was fun as always. Having Coach Bell come in on Saturday was amazing. I mean, he gave a different aspect that we haven't seen in a while. So it was a fun time. It really was.
Did we bang home another 100 touchdowns or close to it?
101 or something like that.
101 touchdowns, just like 101 Dalmatians from Disney. So I'm
Less
sure we'll
games,
get
more impressive
copyright
than
infringement from that. Great job. I mean, if you haven't seen the Audible Call, you have no idea what you're missing, because it is the best thing going on YSN, other than, I would say, the Power Hour. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. When we come back, we're going to talk college football. We're going to talk to our resident expert, Mikey McNuggies, about Ohio State. Are they the real deal? Did they prove it on Saturday, or do they have a long way to go? We'll find out all that and more, and we will, of course, spread the beef at the dinner table. G. Burbick Farm sponsoring What's Your Beef. Be back after this, and Max getting warmed up on the YSN Power Hour, all continuing after the commercial break.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at bairdbrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. DJ Yokley along with a bunch of my friends here for the YSN Power Hour. Before we get to college football and pro football, I did want to go over a couple of notes. People have been asking about the Baird brothers, Big Dogs of the Valley. What's left? We've got one competition left. It's going to be today. They will be released, and it will be for, I believe this is week 5 or 6. I can't remember. I apologize for that. But it will be for the winner goes up against the others for the player of the year. So one volleyball or one girl, I should say one girl, one boy goes up for the player of the year for the fall. So the pumpkin, the poll, how do I say this? Poll will turn into a pumpkin on Saturday night. So just be aware that the candidates will be released today or tonight, depending on where you're sitting and where you're watching this, on Monday. And the poll will turn into a pumpkin on Saturday night with the winner announced on Sunday. Also, wanted to give a special shout out to my good friend Steve Gilmartin. Saw him this morning, and it's just so proud to have him as a supporter of YSN and what we do here. And I know he watches this show every single day along with a bunch of his friends over at Stadium GM. So we want to tip our cap to the good folks over there doing great work and making sure that you're in a great vehicle. So special thanks to them. And our new sponsor while we're at it, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Special thanks to 898 Marketing and their support of what we're doing. And man, Greg Greenwood has been nothing but great to us. So thank you guys all. Appreciate it. And welcome to the family here on the YSN network and the Power Hour. So McNuggies, you've been waiting for this moment like Phil Collins all your life. Talk about your Ohio State Buckeyes and your first impressions of the 2020 team. Are they the real deal, or are we setting ourselves up for heartbreak?
I don't know if we're setting ourselves up for heartbreak, but I don't know if I jump to the conclusion that we're the real deal yet. The defense, it's not going to be nearly as good as it was last year, and I think that was clear. It was 14-14 at one point, and I think I about had a heart attack. But I'll tell you, one player on that team that is the real deal is Justin Fields. He looked amazing yesterday, and hopefully he's not another Ohio State quarterback bust, because with the way he looked, he's going to be a gem for whichever NFL team is going to draft him. The wide receiving core 1-2 punch with Olave and Wilson, that looked really good as well. The offense, it might be better. It still needs a couple of games before I can say that. But the defense, might be the weak spot, especially with quarterbacks that can run the football. I think to make are they the real deal, or is it another heartbreak? I want to see how they do this weekend against Penn State, because Nebraska was iffy, 50-50 for me. But this is going to be a test. I mean, 52-17.
Do you feel
but it
that
didn't
Penn
look
State's
like
going to be a real
52-17.
test, considering they just lost to Indiana?
They're going to Happy Valley, and
Happy Valley without
you
any fans.
You got to think they're angry. They probably think
Richie,
they should have won that game.
I mean, you're an Ohio State fan, right? Talk to me about your take on, is this going to be a real test?
It's tough. I mean, losing Indiana. Do I think they lost the game at the end with that replay call? No, I thought the quarterback was short, but that's the decision that was made. I think this is going to be a test. I think Penn State does have a great football team, and regardless whether there's fans or not, I think Happy Valley's always a difficult place to play, just because Penn State's always more confident there. They get their biggest wins of the season there. So I think it's going to be a good test. And, the Ohio State schedule this year isn't as good as it usually is. I think Michigan State's struggling this year. Michigan's going to be a good test the way they looked in week 1. But I think Penn State, regardless of what Beto says, is going to be a pretty good test for the Buckeyes.
Michael Page saying, hot take, Steel Chambers is the best halfback on that team.
He's definitely the fastest.
Oh, by the way, since we're not to get off topic, but did anybody watch DK Metcalf last night?
Oh my God!
Chasing him down like a wild.
Chase him down?
It looked
you think he's getting away from me?
It looked like you were watching National Geographic and he was a lion chasing a gazelle. It was unbelievable. I could not. I probably replayed it 6 times. Said, we're in bed. I said, Sarah, watch this. You have to watch this. You don't understand how fast that guy is to catch up a DB. Was it Buda Baker, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
He ain't slow. He made it look like he was running on a treadmill. It was incredible.
He was just mad because he got caught that time. And
they didn't even score out of that. He went for it on 4th down, didn't get in the end zone.
Fumbled the ball because of what he did. So he's like, nope.
Cardinals won by 3,
So that really kept the Seahawks in the game the rest of the way, but that's neither here nor there. When you talked about speed, immediately that popped up and my ADD took over.
He ran 22 miles an hour on that.
Yeah.
Like that, it's just ridiculous. I mean, if that doesn't pay for its weight in gold right there, and knowing what you have, and knowing if he's slacking, like if you're a wide receivers coach and you see him run a route and it's not 22 miles an hour, you're like, the hell's the issue here? Like, why aren't we running?
Well, they
I
said
bet
they
it'll be
clocked
Jay.
that. Who was that quarterback? I'm not good with names. What's that?
What quarterback? You talking about Daniel Jones, the one that was running,
the one that fell down.
Yeah,
Yeah, they said they got him at like 21 miles an hour when he was running at top speed.
Yeah, he was running as fast as Tyreek Hill.
Wow.
He just couldn't keep his balance. He was running so fast.
What do they call that? The speed wobbles?
Speed wobbles.
What's
the pep bad?
Jones.
Don't
he
worry.
had a little bit more than that on Friday night.
Don't worry, he's not watching.
No,
Hey,
we know he doesn't know how to get here.
It is red ribbon week, and that's why people are wearing red. I think he was trying to beat everybody to it. He wanted to go red Friday instead.
Yeah. Whoa, Britt Taylor drawing up a novel here. Let's see if I can read it well. Don't fail me now. Penn State beat themselves. Indiana was more physical, and there were more problems with the offense. The offense sputtered because the new O coordinator had lots of confusion on the field. Lots of freshmen on offense. I'm a Penn State University fan, but the Buckeyes win by 30.
Well, Indiana also had all their players coming back on offense this year. So
yeah,
you got to beat the teams that are put in front of you, right? That's just end all be all. And Ohio State has got to do a little bit more to.
Weezy, I'm coming to see you.
It was an adventure on Friday night. Let's just leave it there. Is Ohio State the best team in the country? No. Yes or no? We'll start with you, Mac.
No.
Richie?
Not yet.
Mike?
With them, not yet. They're currently third to me.
Jamie?
I'm with those guys, not yet.
Months?
Sure.
He doesn't care.
Is Florida State the best team in the country? Yes or no?
No.
Quinn, is Ohio State the best team in the country?
No, first time I agree with Michael ever. They're third.
Ty? Are you an Ohio State fan?
Hell no. Yeah, I am. But no, you can't make that kind of assumption after one game, especially when teams like Clemson and Alabama have been playing week in and week out and have been dominating every team that they've played. It's not a fair assumption after one.
Yes. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alabama had.
I think so. Trevor Lawrence is the best.
Might have an argument, but the fact that Clemson's defense and offense is really good puts them over.
Yeah.
Steve saying yes to Clemson. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Should we turn anybody else with some college football analysis that they want to go over before we turn the page to the NFL? All right. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Peace out, college football. On to the NFL. A couple big games yesterday. Some you might have seen, and some you might not have. And I know exactly that you're watching right now. Yes, the Steeler game was not on. It was not on the freaking TV, and I know why, but it doesn't make it any better. It doesn't make it any easier that I had to sit through the freaking Browns game the entire time and watch the Browns
At least you watched a good game.
come back and win. It was disgusting. Now, I'm actually happy for him. I really am. But my boy Joe Burrow bowled out. And it was evident more than ever that he needs help. Like a lot of it. Like
He'll get some.
An incredible amount. But you know who else balled out? Billy Price.
He had a
One
couple
mistake.
penalties, but
Except for his 4 false starts
yeah, he had a couple penalties.
into holding.
Shut up, Quinn.
Oh, I watched the
He's
game.
a Fitch guy, all right?
Yes.
Leave him alone.
He's a great player. I'll give him that.
Yeah, leave him alone.
He's done great things.
He just hasn't gotten healthy yet since coming in the NFL. That's the only issue with Billy, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. It's
Hey,
just,
Paige, shut up. You're on mute from now on.
listen, there was a point in time where the best thing about that game was Billy Price coming into that football game.
And you put that out there. You put it in our group chat. You said this is the best thing that as a Browns fan, as a local here to watch because it's awesome to see. Always, Quinn, write this down. always good to see our local guys do well and not trash them. No matter if they make a mistake or not, let's not trash them because you never know when he's going to be sitting next to you on this damn show. So
He's not. I know Billy wouldn't deny it. He did it. It is what it is. He played a great game. Other than that,
you say 6 words, all of them. I should say 5 of them are negative about Billy Price. So
what he
we're going to fight. That's how it's going to go. Here's Betos' take on the day.
Yeah.
The Falcons literally choked by scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
Just imagine that.
They find the most crazy ass ways to lose games.
No, we do not help out Steeler fans. Ever.
Go to hell, Billy. Straight to hell. Because I sat there on this damn thing the entire time on Gamecast, and that's how I had to watch the Steelers, right? It drove me insane. It literally, especially at the end when they're kicking a field goal and it didn't update. And
should put it on the radio.
I got Greg Gumbel or Bryant Gumbel or whoever the hell that is giving me the updates before it's even. Like I'm ready to chuck my phone. I told my wife, I said, "Is this something that we can buy at YSN an expense? Like, can we just buy the DirecTV package or whatever?" I was so beside myself. There was nowhere to go. Like, there's no sports bars I can go to because we got family activities on Sunday. I was so beside myself. Yes, Steve, red zone on, but that's not the whole game. I just want to watch the Steelers game, and that was good. That still will be my beef. I'm just letting you know. But the Browns, big news, big win, bigger news. No OBJ. How does this transform their season? Good, bad, indifferent. Billy Mack.
Well, I mean, we talked about it right before. I think it brings Baker back to his rookie year a little bit with having confidence to spread the ball out, and we do not have to target OBJ anymore. I mean, OBJ is a fantastic talent. I mean, I don't think anybody will say any different, but you could tell the offense demands him to have X amount of touches, and I think now he can kind of go through his progressions and his readings and give the football to the right places and the right people. But in saying that, Baker still stinks.
That's what I had last time.
Richie.
Yeah, I think Billy Mack hit it pretty well. Without Odell in there, we could spread out. We had a multitude of receivers that could step up and do the job. I mean, you got Bryant, who came in, did fantastic in that second half without Hooper. Donovan Peoples-Jones didn't have a catch coming into the game. He makes the game-winning catch. So there's multitude of receivers that we have that can step in and do a great job. And I think with Baker not having to target Odell every single drive, that gives Baker the opportunity to kind of find new receivers and go through his own motion instead of being forced into something else.
Here's a question for everybody. Let's put that back up. Baker and Stefanski won't feel pressure to get OBJ involved. Why didn't they just trade the guy? Like, why are you waiting for an injury? Why can't you just trade unless nobody wants him? I mean,
I think this is just an issue of like a coach having talent. Like, hey, we'll make it work. Hey, we'll figure it out. I mean, talent still wins in the NFL over not having talent. Not too many not talented teams win Super Bowls, right? So the more talent you have, the better off your chances are to make a playoff run and ultimately win a Super Bowl.
That's a good question. Who do you think would be the most untalented team to ever win the Super Bowl? My vote would be it would
be the Ravens.
Dude, that Ravens team was god
with Trent Dilfer as their quarterback.
But that defense was everything.
Defensively, it was incredible.
But you look at the Bucks when it was Brad Johnson was the quarterback.
They weren't bad though.
But they had a bunch of Hall of Famers on there too, though.
Defensively, they were great.
I don't know. I mean, it's a great statement.
Maybe one of the Giants.
Well, we would have to dig into that one. That's something maybe we could dig up for a Tuesday show.
Tuesday shows are terrible, so that's something we can do. Quinn, I mean, your take on the Browns game yesterday?
I don't think it's as bad as everybody thinks. I really don't. I mean, like Billy and Richie said, it sucks not having Odell because of his talent. But, I mean, Higgins finally gets to play more, and I think Higgins is a very talented receiver.
Michael Page is officially going to be on the I Hate You list.
Yep.
Michael Page is on the bus, and he is riding shotgun right now. Firing.
He might be driving that bus.
He is really, really getting chippy because, I mean, His team won. Well, one of them did. You know, like, come on, man. Come on. But Ty, you're not a Browns fan. Never mind. Let's go.
No.
Let's turn it over to Jamie. Cowboys. My God, talk to me about where you're at in the state of being a Dallas fan.
Yeah, I know you're talking about not having the Sunday ticket. You can just take mine because I never want to watch another Cowboys game again in my entire life. Offensive line depleted, so I can't even say it's Andy Dalton's fault as much as I want to say it is because he has no line. Ben DiNucci came in, made a couple of good throws. I mean, maybe he'll be okay. Started looking at mock drafts yesterday. This is the earliest I've ever done it. A lot of good offensive linemen out there.
Welcome to the Browns, man.
Secondary help. Trayvon Diggs might be the worst draft pick we've ever had. He sucks. He just can't guard anyone. And when he started talking trash to McLaurin, I looked at my dad and I said, oh, this is great. So now he's going to get burned by McLaurin at some point in the game. Literally happened the next freaking play. So I just sat there. I was like, you know what? That's fine. We can turn it off. There's a lot of great games on.
Jamie, at what point, or what week does the defensive coordinator get fired?
I hope it's right now. I hope he gets fired while I'm sitting here. I freaking hate Mike Nolan. I didn't like the hire in the first place. I didn't like that we went out and got Mike McCarthy anyway. So if you want to be one and done, pull the Browns. I do not care at this point. Get rid of everyone.
Do you think McCarthy makes it through the season?
I think he's going to, unfortunately. I mean, we backed Jason Garrett for how many freaking years? They're scared to pull the trigger.
Yeah, but Garrett
especially when your quarterback. Well, when your quarterback goes down early in the year like that, it's hard to fire the head coach because of it.
Does Andy Dalton know where he's at right now?
No.
Oh,
did he ever?
Died. I thought he died. And then
he came out last night.
We could just put Richie in his place, and nobody will even know who the difference is. They'll just be like, "Oh, it's a redheaded quarterback. Great, Dalton's back."
I've seen Richie fire football. I think he can do it.
Oh, like Uncle Rico.
And what?
Quarter
You
mile
want to know what the sad part
mountains.
You want to know what the sad part about this all is? The Cowboys could still win the division.
I hope we don't. I really hope we don't. Even if we go 8-8, I'm rooting for us to still win the division. I want the low draft pick. Like if we go 6-10 and win the division, I'm going to jump out my window.
Listen, what if you go? What if you go like 6-10, win the division, and then you get like the 7th draft pick?
I mean, that'd be sweet then.
That would be real sweet, right? You still get to put the banner up, but hey, you roll the dice in the playoffs. Everybody's 0-0, right? So you never know. It could be Cowboys Browns in the Super Bowl for all we know. Munson.
Yep.
You all right?
Yeah, just doing some math.
All right. Are you doing the picks? Oh, okay, there it is. I thought you were going over the picks again. Tampa Bay got your number.
Yep.
How do you feel about the Raiders right now?
Tampa Tom, I think they'll be okay. I mean, Tampa Tom came in and they, they like we talked about the other day. They've pretty much put together a super team. They're trying to put a super team together there with some aged veterans. They're all in. They're like the Florida Marlins were that one year. They're all in for this year. They brought in Brown. They got Gronk. They got Tom. They got all these other guys. They're gonna make their push. They're gonna try to win their division, which they probably can win their division, and they're gonna make a push for this year and go at it. The Raiders, I mean, I think it played on them a little bit with some of the guys that they had in or out because of the COVID stuff they had there. I mean, they didn't know who was going to be on the list and who was going to be off the list, and guys got released off the list on Sunday. And now all of a sudden they can come practice and play. But it was, I mean, not making excuses. They got beat. I mean, they looked okay, but some of their stars didn't play the way they should have, and it happens. So
the Golden State Buccaneers.
I know the NFC East is obviously the worst division in football, but that NFC South has been a pretty big disappointment too this year. I thought they would be a lot better though. I mean,
it's physical. At least it's good football. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's
right.
Good football. The other one is not. The other one is like it's like a reverse Tommy Mansky video.
The Saints, you get. I'm obviously the NFC East is terrible. I'm not saying it, but that NFC South has been a disappointment to me because I thought the Saints would be a lot better, and I thought Carolina would be a little bit more in the middle, and they played better of late without McCaffrey. The Falcons stink. They need to just hit reset and everything. Don't be surprised you start seeing some stars being traded this week.
I sat there and I was like, wow, the Falcons are going to win this game. Because it was at the bottom of the ticker. I thought, wow,
nope.
Jeff is going to be miserable. And then I got a text when we were on our way to whatever, and the Lions won. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I don't even know how they won. I haven't seen it. So now I'm going to have to go look it up because McNuggy said that it all is about a touchdown. So
Dolphins scored too quick.
Yeah. And, there was another piece of something on social media that I kind of raised my eyebrow about regarding a local team in that, but that's not here nor there. Ty, the lone Patriots fan on this entire panel, what happened?
It was, and this kind of is going to hint into my beef too. Patriots fans that are, bitch, moan, and complaining about everything this season, learn how to lose. Like, honest to God, we're separating bandwagon fans from the actual Patriots fans right now because it's frustrating. Yeah, I mean, but with all the success that we've had over the past how many years, I mean, a lot of the fan base has this turned into the Yankees and this Super Bowl or bust type of mentality every year. The 49ers were the better team. And I mean, granted, not trying to use it as an excuse, but a lot of the Patriots players opted out defensively for COVID-19 this year. So we don't have a lot of our defense. But I mean, that's still no excuse because Bill Belichick historically has been a guy about next man up.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Cam Newton's fault. I just think it's the lack of receivers on this team right now. Julian Edelman is way past his prime. He's not really the guy to turn to anymore. N'Keal Harry is not really developed into the type of receiver that he could have been. That I don't know. I think that was kind of a waste of a draft pick. Looking back at it, I think you could have had Mecole Hardman and some other players out of the draft. I don't know if the Patriots tank this year to try to get a higher draft pick because I can't remember the last time they drafted in the top 10.
I'll listen to you.
But no, I don't know if it's a quarterback that's necessarily needed. Although, I mean, a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Fields would be something. A Lawrence, I think, more than Fields would definitely operate better in a Bill Belichick system. But
you're not getting either one of those guys.
Yeah, but I mean, they still need weapons around them, and it's going to be rebuilding now. And this is where Patriots fans are going to have to learn to lose for the next couple seasons because this is the nature of the team. We went through how many years of success? We have to rebuild it back up now. 49ers kicked our ass. I mean, there's no other.
At what point does everybody get to finally say Tom Brady was the guy?
Absolutely. And you know what? That was something I always argued with people that said he was a system quarterback. You still have to make the throws. And you want to talk about one of the most clutch performers ever. I mean, there's no denying it now. And I mean, with Tom Brady especially, I mean, he's already solidified in my mind as the greatest quarterback of all time. If he goes to Tampa Bay, granted they have the weapons there, but if he goes into a completely different system, takes them to the promised land and wins, I don't know. There's that the 1% of people that doubt him as the greatest now kind of have to shut their mouths because this dude just went to a different team, won his first year there, and
has the most talent anybody's ever had on a team.
Whoa!
Look at the 6 rings he won with the Patriots before that, Mac. Come on now.
Ty said something.
Going to it now.
Ty said something that rings really true. Is there's no receivers on this team. This is what he dealt with for years. And he still made Super Bowl championship caliber receivers out of those receivers. So you put in a Cam Newton, who has been the NFL MVP, who has been the poster boy for the NFL, and he can't do it. It just tells you how good Tom Brady is. And it's time for us.
He's had a top 5 defense every time he's won a Super Bowl.
But they still have to score more points than the other team.
I mean, yeah, or you can limit your team to almost nothing.
They score points.
They also had Gronk. They also had they didn't not have players on that offensive line. They didn't win last year.
Tom Brady is answering the bell when the question this year to a lot of people and football fans in general
you got
is
Godwin, Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Gronk.
He hasn't even thrown a damn pass to Antonio Brown. Calm your tits.
I'm just naming all the players. There should be no excuse. If the Buccaneers, this is one of those cases where if they don't win the Super Bowl,
Godwin's only played 3 games.
Yeah,
Gronk doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They got more talent than anybody else in the league on that offense.
That's false. 100% false.
Have you seen the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yes.
Billy?
Yeah. Thank
No,
you.
they got
right
more
there.
talent. They got more talent on Tampa Bay than they
And
do in
I'm going
Kansas
to argue
City.
the next team we're going to talk about is better talent offensively than Tampa Bay is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No.
Tell me,
Straight up and down.
did you even know who the hell Scotty Miller was before this season?
Huh?
Did you know who Scotty Miller was before this season?
I know who they got. Two good running backs for Tampa Bay. Better than any running back that Pittsburgh's got.
Oh, get out. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can see you make the case for Ronald Jones and Fournette both to be better than James Conner. I don't think James Conner is great. I'm going to be honest with you.
I would say Fournette right now.
Running back. He's better than Elliott at this point. I'll say that much.
I would take Fournette over Conner right now.
Connor is better because the offensive line of the Steelers is fantastic. that does make Connor a lot better. And when you have a legitimate threat at quarterback now, and you saw that from the difference between Rudolph to Ben, when you have someone that could actually throw the ball, Connor becomes a lot better.
I'm going to make the argument that the Steelers' offense is better than Tampa right now, because they have more weapons that are unknowns. When you have Juju, when you have Mapletron, when you have Deontay Johnson that is healthy, you have, and we haven't even got to Connor. You have Connor. You have Benny Snell. You have. I mean, it's there.
So because you're an unknown, that's better.
I'm just saying that they're left open more often than not because you got to cover for this guy.
Who are you guarding? You put Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, and then you put Godwin out there. You can't double anybody.
Who did the Buccaneers just lose to? That you, Mac, told me, oh, you better hope they win this week, otherwise you're going to lose your bet to Potesta. And now you're telling me that they're their best offense in football?
They have the most talent. I said from the beginning, this is like the Miami Heat. They're going to have so much talent, they're not going to know what to do with it, and they're going to end up losing for some stupid reason.
So if we use Billy Mack's logic, because he did say he's been on the record of saying Le'Veon Bell stinks, he's not the same. So you could say the same thing. Gronk is not the same Gronk. Godwin's been injured, so you have no fair thing to go off of him. Antonio Brown hasn't played football in how many seasons right now?
Talent's talent, though. Talent is talent.
This is what we're going to address right now. Aaron chiming in because we Steelers Nation Unite have heard for 5 weeks about who we haven't played, how we don't play anybody.
Well, Tennessee hasn't played anybody to win any games.
Oh, shut your mouth. You can't beat a team that has any more wins than the freaking Tennessee Titans. Shut up.
They played the Jets 5 times.
Shut up. Dude, enough with that
So
crap.
the Buffalo Bills are the New York Jets now, huh?
Who does the Steelers have to play to prove that they are legit? Are they the best team in football?
I guess it's
Probably
Baltimore
not.
now.
Hey, calm down. Are they the best team in football? Probably not. Should they be 6-0? Yes, they should be. But I'm tired of hearing specifically Browns fans chime in about who's good and who's not. You guys are literally a freaking stove of emotion because one quarter you're cranked up hot. The next quarter, you're cranked down. Baker sucks. Baker's great. Baker sucks. Baker's great. I love OBJ. I hate OBJ. I'm glad he's hurt. We need to trade him. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. You are literally like the most unbelievable. There goes Quinn. Yeah, you shut up too. You are literally the most unbelievable fan base in the world.
Most loyal.
To what? To who? You haven't been loyal to anything in 6 weeks.
We'll sell out. We're freaking 2-8.
Sell out what? There's no fans in the stands. There's 7,500 people
not
there.
This year, obviously.
But what I'm saying is Richie, nobody, like, you go from I love Baker's the franchise quarterback to you wanted to kick him out and be third string quarterback last week.
Still do.
Didn't say that.
There's every one of the Browns fans, and Mac is the lead dog, but at least he's being straight up and saying Baker's done. He's out. Like, I don't know if he kissed Kate or what he did to piss him off, but he's out of the circle for Mac right now. So, like, it is, like, legit. He's the only person that has stayed true to his... Everybody else is, oh, I love Baker, then hate Baker. Now, guess what? Everybody's back on the Baker train because he scored a touchdown. Shut up. Like, you want to back your team? Fine. That's fine. But stop throwing people under the bus and then picking them up and then kicking them down again. Like, and then for the Steelers, leave them alone. Who do we have to beat to be like, man, that's a pretty good team?
Beating?
Like who? An undefeated team and being the only team left
Yeah,
undefeated?
but the undefeated team beat the Jets 5 weeks in a row. So that doesn't count.
Get out of here with that.
Oh my God.
You are.
Hey, tell me, was Derrick Henry the leading
Go be
rusher in the
Seattle
NFL
or
heading into
something.
the game, and still is the leading rusher in the NFL? Is he?
The Steelers can only beat who they put in front of them.
Nah, well, then that's why you get the criticism.
Well, I mean, we just had the number 2 offense in the league put in front of us, and
You can't use that excuse and then you go to like college football and like, well, they beat who they have to play and they go undefeated. They're not very good, but they go undefeated.
No, because the Steelers or NFL teams didn't have the choice to shorten their season or cancel their season.
Yeah.
The Buckeyes did, and that's what they
Beat
did.
who you beat, man. You beat who you play in front of you.
No, they didn't want to play, Billy. That's the problem. When you wear your sissy pants, you don't get to be the champ. You don't get to wear the strap and say, we're the people's champ.
And drinkers, pumpkin spice lattes.
Oh, can't wait to take that picture tonight and send it.
McNuggies, did you watch the Bills yesterday?
I reckon they won, Michael Page, so,
Barely. They should have lost to the Jets.
Hey.
Bucks lost to
18-10
Chicago.
was
Yes, that's exactly who it was. Thanks, James, for that. I forgot. We watched that game and thought to myself, wow, this is not a good team. Oh, how is Ron feeling today? I believe he's feeling good. He's back to normal.
Normal can get.
Need to beat the Ravens. Okay, let's put this out there right now. Before we get to our beef, if the Steelers beat the Ravens, will you shut your damn mouth, Billy Mack?
No, because Lamar still stinks too.
Oh,
He's overrated.
I do think the Steelers already are going to be set to beat the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens. I mean, the Steelers defense, I think, is better than the Ravens offense. I mean, you got a magician at quarterback. I mean, I'm not saying that the Ravens offense is bad. I'm just saying that the Steelers defense is going to be able to contain that.
You ready for this? You ready for this? The Steelers will lose this week to the Ravens because they are going to exploit Devin Bush being out. Devin Bush was the spy for Lamar Jackson, and that is why.
I mean, you can't count on a guy that went to Michigan anyway.
You were just being a complete scumbag today.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I am not missing Bush. I mean, I want Bush back, but Spillane, he did pretty good yesterday.
All right, McNuggies.
I liked what I saw from Spillane.
That's gonna do it for you, McNuggies.
I liked what I saw from Spillane.
Let's go to our G-Berg Firms. What's your beef? Ty, start us off, buddy.
We already, you already heard a little bit about it, but I mean, we'll expand it to just bandwagon fans in general. Learn how to lose. I hate these type of fans. I hate the type of fans that also are constantly following players rather than a team. I mean, just pick a team. If you're going to pick outside of your state, pick a team for a certain reason, but stick with your team, good or bad. That's part of being a sports fan.
All right, Quinn, you're up.
Mine's with myself. I need to learn time management better because I have to go to the bathroom, and I didn't do that during the break. So it's with myself.
See you later, buddy. Have a fun time in the bathroom.
Gotta work on
Muncie.
Mine is with people staying in their lane. People need to stay in their lane and keep conversations and things that they have to themselves and not have to worry about other things. So stay in your lane and worry about what you need to worry about.
All right. On to Jamie Thompson. What do you got, buddy?
Well, my beef is with people staying in their lane when you're driving. You know, if I'm driving in this lane, you're in this lane. Don't be switching into mine, cutting me off.
Well played. McNuggies, please be a good one.
I don't know if it's really that good, but it's going to be with all these people that are trying to make sure that the Steelers haven't played.
Mute them.
The Steelers, no, they haven't played anybody after we just beat the Tennessee Titans. And now everybody's trying to discredit what the Titans have done up until that point just because the Steelers beat them. And now we got to beat Baltimore to be recognized as a good team. We're the only undefeated team in the league. If we beat Baltimore, what else do we have to prove?
Well, Super Bowl title will be good, but
I mean, hey, the Patriots went 16-0 and then lost.
You could be so lucky, Billy. Richie,
No beef.
Oh,
Cardinals won, Buckeyes won, Browns won. That's all my life. Right
Your
there.
beef should be with the Lightning because you didn't get to call 2 games.
Yeah, Jamie actually texted me when that happened. He's like, Richie DeLay is back, and I'm like, you know what? It's all right.
Richie
like,
Oh my God, I completely forgot.
I did too. I always forget about that. Richie Rain delay continues. The Lightning edition. Billy Mack.
I think that helped us though. So
I think so
I think
too.
it saved them.
You're up,
So
sir.
I got a beef. I'm not gonna. Just this company that when you come out and you talk smack about our sponsors, who some of them we share with you. First off, just want to put out we love our sponsors here at YSN. We also shop at their stores. We don't just promote it, okay, and then just accept their money. We go shopping at their stores. We tell people about their places, and we love our sponsors and we treat our sponsors good. So if you're going to come at us about sponsors, well, you're just stupid. And eventually those sponsors won't be sponsors with you anymore. All right. And and the one last thing about that is when you're at blackjack, if you're over, you're a bust.
I'm gonna have to ask you about that one later.
No, think about it.
I can't think right now. I'm trying to think of how.
Do your beef, and then we'll talk about it after the show.
It's easy. I like it, Billy.
That's a great comment, Billy. I really like that one as well.
All right, I figured it out. Never mind. All right. My beef goes to anybody, and this is going to be really vague because I can't get deep into it. Anybody that disrespects a military veteran, because there was a couple instances that I saw personally this weekend. Listen, if anybody, and I mean anybody, signs up to give their life to protect mine, you have my utmost respect, and I will back you to the end of the earth, because you are giving up your life for somebody else's in one way or another. Sacrifice is a heavy word, and it comes with a price, no matter what it is. So if you're willing to put yourself out there for me, my loved ones, my family, my friends, my country, salute. If you are the low-life scum of the earth that want to point to, make fun of, or any type of putting down our military men and women, you should sign on the dotted line. See what it's all about. Because if not, if you're going to sit there and poke fun and say that this or that or the other thing, not stand for our national anthem, not understand what it means, and this isn't a BLM thing. This is just someone that's disrespecting our flag. Because get with it. This country is great because of the people, the men and women, and the freedoms that we have. If you are going to disrespect our country because one reason or another, get out. We'll see you later, because you won't be missed. Because this country is great, again, because of the red, the white, and the blue, and what it means. The 50 stars and the 13 bars that are on the American flag, Old Glory. And there's a reason that we pause and we, in remembrance and in salute to that flag, each and every sporting event. And it is not a flag thing. It is a military thing that I'm addressing. So if you're out there and you're listening, please know that the military is open to accepting you too. So if you want to step up in somebody else's place and defend our country, go right ahead and we'll salute you too. So that is my beef. Brought to you by G. Berwick Farms. You can visit them on the web at gberwickfarms.com. Oh yeah. Forgot about
And
that.
we don't have to play crowd music.
Pumping the crowd music? Pumping the crowd music? Is that artificial? Are we pumping in crowd music now? You wouldn't do that. No local media company, whatever pump in crowd music. What's the advantage to that? Especially when it's not even, I don't know, the same damn sport. Enjoy it. That's it for the YSN Power Hour. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4. It's going to be a good show. We're turning Tuesdays around. Making Tuesdays great. We come back tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here.
Tuesdays great again.
On the YSN Power Hour. See you guys later.